Now I seem to remember the sound of this one had a bit more character. Let's turn it on and have a listen. Oh, it doesn't make any sound at all. Oh, there we go, jeez. Welcome! Today we're looking at stylophones, and I have to thank my friend Kurt for the idea for this episode. We were recently on a trip, and I think we were in a music store, and the subject of stylophones came up, and I mentioned I had 3 of them, which you see before you, and I thought it would be a cool idea for a video to look at the differences between them. So we could play Spot the Difference if you like. This one is the original, first made in 1968, and this is from that original run. Not necessarily that year though. This one is a 2007 reissue with some different circuitry inside. And then this slightly different looking one here is a Hong Kong made knockoff made for the American market. The original being from the UK. Now throughout this video I'll be referring to this really cool article called Reverse Engineering the Stylophone from waitingforfriday.com. It's well worth a read if you're at all interested in how these things work. So this is the original, as I mentioned, and it sounds like this. So the whole idea behind the stylophone is you've got this little stylus which you run across the keys. They're actually enlarged traces on the board, the circuit board, which once you touch one of these it closes a circuit, and the resistance between these 2 points gives you the pitch. As you can hear, it's a little bit scratchy sounding. And rather like an angry bee, but you can resurrect these a little bit by polishing the metal parts and the end of the stylus here. Sometimes this wire can be problematic. This one seems to be not bad. I've had some good luck by just cleaning this with alcohol. There's one more function on this, and that is vibrato. It sounds like this. One of the interesting selling points of this back when it came out was you could affect the sound by putting your hand over the speaker and kind of opening and closing that to give it kind of a wah sound. And so let's demonstrate that real quick. It's kind of cool, I suppose. But ultimately a bit of a gimmick. Now, the other thing you'll find on here is an output. I put one on here myself, but I think the reason was because this one doesn't turn the speaker off, and this is a switch jack which does. I believe that's why I put that on there. I can't think of any other reason other than maybe this didn't work so good. So now that we've had a look at how it works, we can turn it over and have a look at the back. There's a tuning pot right here, and I had a go at tuning this yesterday. Let's just see if it stayed in tune. So I went ahead and tuned this off camera because it was a lot more difficult than it should have been. For one thing, this had trouble registering the pitch, and you have to be really precise with that adjustment on the back. So we'll just look at it real quickly and I'll show you how close we got, if this thing's going to work. Let's try the D. See, now it's out again. Let's try. You can see how fiddly it's being here. We got that pretty close. It might be out again when I turn it back on again next time, but at least we had a go. Okay, so let's turn it over again, and it says down in the corner here, made in England. So to open it here, we have a little tab on this side, and this side is supposed to have some little tabs sticking into the side of the case like a hinge, but those have long since broken off before I had this thing. You can see here the tabs are on this end, but the ones on the other side are well broken. Alright, so here's the innards, and this runs on a 9-volt battery, as does the Hong Kong version. The 2007 version is a little different, and we'll look at that in a minute. But let's get that out of the way. Okay, so basically you have some capacitors, resistors, there are 3 transistors, and this is the tuning pot that we were just messing with. There's the output jack, which that's the original one, and then you can see I've fitted my own here with I don't know, I put 2 resistors, maybe that's to make up the value. This is a switching jack which turns off the speaker when you plug in the cable. So yeah, these orange things are resistor modules apparently, so there are various resistor values inside there. When you touch the stylus to the board, it gives you the individual pitches for each note. So the oscillator producing the sound is actually a number of components, and I don't pretend to understand which ones, other than there's a transistor involved, and the outputted signal looks something like this. So it's not exactly a square wave. In the 1970s they changed this design, which is called a relaxation oscillator, to a 555 chip, which is a more common thing that you find in electronic organs, and it's basically a square wave. So let's put this sort of back together. We're just gonna leave it open for now because we'll refer to it again in a bit. And next we're gonna look at the Hong Kong version. So let's turn it on and hear how it sounds first of all. Now be warned, this one is very sketchy sounding, and it could do with a bit of a clean. It has a lot more character than the original, let's put it that way. So here we go. You have to press a little harder with this guy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it could use a clean, like I say. I had this working a lot better. It's not seen the light of day for some years here. So vibrato now. That has quite a bit of oomph behind it, doesn't it? Okay, so that's the sound, and as I say, we'll give this a clean later and maybe it'll sound a little bit better than that. Again, you have an output, and that right there is for an external 9-volt battery. So there's a cool little thing written on the bottom here, and it says not to leave the switch on while Stylophone is not working. In other words, don't leave it turned on when you're not using it, or the battery will run down. And on this one, they've given us a nice little battery hatch. And to open it, they have put a little screw here. That's the tuning pot as before, by the way. It's a little difficult to get out of here. I had this trouble yesterday too. Oh, there we go. Now it does have tiny little tabs on the bottom and top. They're not as breakable as the other ones. As you can see inside, the guts are quite a bit different to the British version. There's the tuning pot as before, and they've given you a trim pot, which I believe that's to do with the overall pitch of the keyboard. I'm not going to mess with that because I want it to stay mostly in tune for the project I have coming up. Now they've given us these strange, large, they look to me like large component resistors or capacitors. I've not been able to work out which. And there appear to be a bunch more transistors than there were in the other one. There's like 5 of them here. These must be the pitch resistors here. Remember in the other one we had, let's just look at it. Now remember there were these modules here to set the pitch for the British one. And I'm gonna guess that these are the pitch resistors, maybe these ones here actually, for the keyboard on this one. These were something presumably that were specific for this design, and then if you're going to do it the cheaper way, you would just take individual resistors and throw them in there, higgledy-piggledy. Well, they make some sort of sense, I'm sure. Output jack, and it's a different design to the other one. It's more like the one I put in here. And then the jack for the external battery. It looks like a mini jack, so I'd be interested to see if they sold a specific battery pack for this, or whether it was just something you could get off the shelf. Okay, so that's the comparison between the two. Let's look at number 3 now. Alright, so this is the 2007 version, and that's how it's supposed to work. The wire is supposed to hide under the stylus there. But it's increasingly difficult to get the wire back in on the older ones because it's so mangled. So out it pops, and yeah, so power on. Now you can already hear that it's quite different sounding, and the reason will become apparent in a moment, but let's hear the whole thing. Kind of a strange sound, isn't it? But what they've done is they've given us 3 settings here. That's number 1 that we just heard. Number 2. A little beefier for sure. Number 3. Now that's the closest sounding to the original Stylophone, even though it's a little weedy. But yeah, they've given us 3 tones, and I can't say I like all of them. That one is my favorite, but the second one is not bad now that I hear it again. But yeah, let's hear the vibrato, because they did keep the vibrato, so let's have a listen to that on the first sound. There it is. It wasn't working the first time. And on the second one, yeah, and tone 3. Alright, so they've also given us a volume control, and then on this side we have headphone out and MP3, I believe that's in, so you can tell it's from the modern times when they give you an MP3 jack, so you can presumably play tunes into here and hear them through the speaker and play along. I'm not sure if they released any Stylophone play-along songs, or whether they just expected you to put Britney Spears or something through there. So yeah, that's the 2007 version, a slice of modern retro. Oh yes, and I was going to show you, on this one they gave us a familiar looking battery hatch, complete with the child-proof screw affair, and you can put 3 AAAs in there instead of the 9 volts like the other two take. And they still give you the tuning pot as before. Now the other night when I first tried filming this episode and it kind of went south on me, I spent probably 10 minutes trying to get into this thing because you have to get your spudger in here and break the glue points. Yes, it's glued here, 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 and along the back too, I think, right about here. You'll see when I open it, it's now been freed of the glue, and so you can just pop it open fairly simply, I hope. Famous last words. I might need the spudger again. There we go. Yeah, as per the American version, they've given you little tabs that stick into the... Oh, and look at this. These are the same style as the UK version. Okay, so here are the guts of this one. Here's the tuning pot as before. Here's the switch for the 3 tones. The on switch and the vibrato switch are under here. The 2 jacks, they're more modern style jacks, and speaker of course, and then a lot of the components are on this board here. Maybe we can flip that up and have a quick look at it. I'm not going to pull the entire board out because it's a lot of fussing about. But basically there's a black blob on the other side of here, keeping all its secrets safe. Alright. Yes, there we go. So, oh. Now, what does that say? 386D. But at any rate, there's the bulk of the circuitry, and there is a black bulb, as I mentioned, lurking under this lot. Now, with a boatload of discrete components like that, a person could probably bend this device. That's beyond the scope of this video. Yeah, so that's the innards of that one, and let's clip it back together. Simple as that. There we go. So I thought it might be interesting to finish this episode off with a little bit of multi-track recording using all 3 of these. Each one's going to have its own strengths and weaknesses. I can see this one, the modern one, being good for leads and rhythm sounds, and possibly the old one, or this one here, for bass lines perhaps. And I might even get some buzzy percussions out of these if I'm lucky. So there you go, that's my collection of stylophones and a little bit of a comparison between them, and some fun with multi-tracking. We'll have that tune play us out, but in the meantime, thanks for watching. You helping? Hello. You want to be in the show that badly?